clock is 7. My clock is now 7. I call this meeting of the General Government and Public Safety Committee to order. Attendance has been taken. If we would rise and recite the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Mayor, a couple of proclamations.
All right. Before I get started, though, I did want to recognize a couple of our younger attendees tonight. If you would, when I call your name, stand up and just kind of tell us a little bit about what you're doing and introduce your parents. Okay. So, Grayson Bruce.
I'm 9 years old and I'm a scout, and we're here to learn about what the mayor does. And my dad is Jordan Bruce.
All right. Thank you very much. And Nick Lockwood.
I'm 9 years old, and next month I'm going to turn 10, and I'm a scout in Levi's 1, and my dad is Jason.
All right. Thank you very much. And welcome to the City Council meeting. All right. Both Grayson and Nick got here about 6:30, and they interviewed me and asked me a bunch of questions that 9-year-old scouts would ask the mayor. You know, how'd you become the mayor, and you know, what are some problems in the city of Centralia, and what are some big things that we're doing. So I answered their questions for them. So thank you for coming in tonight. With that, I want to, this is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And so I have a proclamation for our telecommunicators who are with us in the audience. And ask Chief to go ahead. He's got a letter he'd like to read first.
I'd like thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to Mr. Wilkins, our Public Safety Chairman, and other members of the council. And yes, I'd like to introduce first, most of you know these folks, but I'd like to introduce our dispatch team. We're very fortunate in Centralia to have our own dispatch. As Lynn used to say, and I hate to agree publicly with him, the police department door is the last place where it's open all the time. You seek refuge in the lobby of the police department. I think that's important. And as long as I'm here, the next 24 hours or the next 10 years, that I want to maintain that. It just provides a service to the city of Centralia and the community, even outside the city, that I just think is unmatched. It's just unparalleled. I'd like for Brenda Moss, our dispatch supervisor, to introduce herself and then introduce the other folks and some of their family that's with them, the officers. I appreciate you all coming here, and I appreciate the recognition that we're given tonight. Brenda?
Name's Brenda Moss. I've been with the Centralia Police Department for 10 years. Been supervisor for 5. And I've lived in Centralia almost 33 years.
Thank you. Brandy?
I'm Brandy Hess. I've been with the police department for 10 years, full-time, about 8 years now. And I don't come from Centralia. I was here for 7 or 8 years and moved to Higby, so I'm from Higby now. So here.
Brandy's redeeming factor is she worked midnights with Raymond W. for many years. That counts for something, you know? It's fun. Nicole Hudson.
Nicole Hudson. I've been with the PD now for 7.5 years, almost 8. The first 2 years were part-time, and then a full-time position I was night shift.
Okay. And Nicole has members of her family here. If you'd be so kind, please.
This row. I have Sydney down there at the end. She is the twin of Reagan here, the blonde, and then Gracie in the middle. She's my youngest, and all three of those. It's a good year for us. The twins graduate from high school and 8th grade promotion for Gracie. And then next to Reagan is Draven Dickerson, and he is part of our family. He is Reagan's boyfriend. So.
Okay, thank you. And her husband Todd, as you know, couldn't be here. He's out at the school board meeting tonight.
He is a school board member.
Yeah. Matt?
I'm Matt Hensley. I've been with Centralia Police Department for about a year now. I've lived in Centralia all my life. And I got Jordan Bruce, my brother-in-law, over there, and Grayson Bruce, my older.
And do you have folks that live here in town?
I do. You and Jerry Hensley.
That's what I thought.
All right.
Jerry? Yeah. Seer?
I'm Sierra Whitehead. I've been a dispatcher for 2.5 years, been full-time since February, and I've lived here my whole life.
Okay. Vanna?
Savannah Rogers, been here give or take 7 years, I think.
Let me clarify. She's worked for us about 7 years. She's born and raised here. Her dad's still on the fire department, and her grandpa was the fire chief for many years. All right, did I miss anyone? I know that. Okay. And then I'd like to introduce Jordan Cooper. He's our newest addition to dispatch. It'll just be nice to have a Cooper at the PD again. Now, he's no relation, but Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself when you graduated high school and who your mom is.
I graduated, been here my entire life, graduated 2014, and my mom is Gina Cooper.
We start force just any day. We've got all the city paperwork out of the way, so I think it's good to go. And he'll start with us just right away. Okay, did I miss anybody? Okay. All right. Honorable Mayor Grinke and Mr. David Wilkins, Chairperson Public Safety, and Mr. Matt Harline, Administrator, and other guests, ladies and gentlemen. This week of April 10th through April 16th has been declared the United States Congress National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. It is a week to recognize the dedicated people that serve as the most vital link between those in need of emergency services and those who provide emergency services, be that police, fire, or medical. The community of Centralia is most fortunate to be served by a very dedicated professional staff of dispatchers. They handle 900 calls for service each month. Just seems unbelievable to me, 900 calls for service each month. And that does not include walk-in traffic to the police department. Over and above the calls for service, which by itself is attention demanding, they must also answer radio calls by the police, fire, and public utilities. In Centralia, they are responsible also for monthly data and statistics specific to the police department. As you know, Brenda is complimented most every year by the patrol for her UCR work, and Brandy does all the, after I approve a report, throw it in her basket there, she disseminates that to whatever prosecutor that's got to go to. So, police department or emergency services information center can only be as good as the information gleaned from caller. That information must then be translated to emergency services in an efficient and succinct manner. The manner of professionalism demonstrated by our very own Centralia dispatchers guarantees the transfer of vital information efficiently and succinctly, each and every call to the best of their ability. I ask that you join me in a moment of appreciation for the outstanding professionals who make up the Centralia Police Department dispatch team. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, no dispatch team operates as smoothly and professionally as our Centralia dispatchers. They are, without exception, most deserving of our appreciation. All right, let me add one other thing. It's one thing just to answer the phone. It's quite another to do what we just spoke about. Brandy's got to do the UCRs. Brandy does her report thing. Nicole is the all-night dispatcher, which I just don't know how she does it. But anyway, shows up about 11 o'clock every night, stays there till Randy gets there at 7. It's attention demanding. Besides that, she has other things too that she has to tend to within the police department to kind of keep us going. So I appreciate all the things that the full-timers do for us, and Lord knows we couldn't function without the steady hand of the part-time dispatchers that come in there for us. And Jordan will be no exception, so enough of that. Thank you all very kindly for what you do. Do you mind getting up there, Mayor, where Jessica can get a picture? Jessica, well, I think we'll do it up there. The fireside guard couldn't be here tonight. They're down in person and they had to be at the school board. So Jessica's gonna take a picture.
This is the kind of lineup that's okay.
That's Jordan's, a little bigger boy, isn't he, Dan?
All right.
Where's this camera at? Right back there.
Yeah.
Just like,
Just
I have no idea. I guess.
an freshman football. You know?
All right.
Okay,
Go.
now I gotta read it.
Go ahead. Keep going.
All right, proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Whereas April 10th through April 16th, 2016 is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week as declared by the Congress of the United States. And whereas the city of Centralia, Missouri hereby recognizes the Centralia Police Department dispatchers as emergency services telecommunications professionals. And whereas the Centralia dispatchers working relationship with other dispatch organizations is and has been exceptional. And therefore, by this proclamation, the city of Centralia commends and does hereby appreciate the outstanding attention to duty demonstrated by the dispatchers of the Centralia Police Department. I, Tim Grinke, Mayor of the city of Centralia, do hereby proclaim and encourage the citizens of Centralia, Missouri to recognize the dispatchers of the Centralia Police Department during this week. Signed this date, 11th of April 2016.
Thank you very kindly.
All right, I think we're good to go.
All right.
Thank you all very kindly.
Thank you, Cameron. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, all of you. Thank you. I know you did probably work.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, don't leave yet. I got one more proclamation for you.
There's one more song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Yeah. So, in addition to Telecommunications Week, which is much appreciated, this is also designated as Line Workers Appreciation Day. Okay? We own our own electric department, and our linemen get out there every day, especially during the storms and all that. We send them to other cities when other cities have problems. And they are a big reason on why you get to turn your TV on at night, while your microwave works, you know, while all your electronic power devices are operational. So I'll read this proclamation for the proclamation designating April 11th, 2016 as Centralia Line Worker Appreciation Day. Whereas the city electric department is a valuable community asset that contributes to the well-being of local citizens through customer service, environmental protection, economic development, safety awareness, and energy efficiency. Whereas the profession of line worker is steeped in personal, family, and professional tradition and dedication. And whereas Centralia's line workers work with thousands of volts of electricity high atop power lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to keep our lights on and return electric power to our homes and businesses. And whereas the line workers of the Centralia Electric Department often work under dangerous conditions and put their lives on the line every day to construct and maintain the energy infrastructure of Centralia. And whereas the second Monday of April has been designated an annual observance of Missouri Line Workers Appreciation Day by the Missouri Legislature. And whereas April 11th, 2016 is an appropriate date to designate as Centralia Line Worker Appreciation Day. Therefore, by this proclamation, the City of Centralia commends and does hereby express their heartfelt appreciation to all the men who so diligently serve to ensure that electric power continues to flow into the homes and businesses of this city, despite severe weather, accidents, and systems malfunction. I, Tim Granke, Mayor of the City of Centralia, do hereby proclaim and encourage the citizens of Centralia, Missouri to recognize today, April 11, 2016, as Centralia Line Worker Appreciation Day, in support of the contributions of the brave men and women who keep the power on and protect public safety. And furthermore, that all citizens take time to reflect on the benefits they receive from the dedicated service of the city's line workers, and that they take all opportunities to express appropriate appreciation to these public servants as circumstances may permit. Signed this 11th day of April 2016, Tim Granke, Mayor. So. We'll do that to them tomorrow. All right. We're getting creepy.
The next part will be riveting though, guys.
Yes, you're gonna miss the best part.
You know, it's interesting that they don't, that you're just pointing out how those calls at night come through the telecommunication workers.
Right,
It's
right.
an excellent example of how the departments work together.
Right.
Make sure it's-
Want to say they're masters of multitasking.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
masters of multitasking. Pretty good.
All right, we'll open up comments from citizens. Yes.
Jessica Orsini, 231 South Hickman Street. And follow up from last month when I brought up the concern of the citizens that live within a block of West Sexton on the speed limit there. I hope we might actually see something on the agenda for a draft ordinance of some sort regarding that. I noticed it wasn't on here, so I came to see, is there going to be follow-up on this or not?
We'll have a follow-up on it. I have not drafted an ordinance or something for discussion, but, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You mean West Singleton? Or-
West Singleton.
yeah, West Singleton, kind of to the east side of the tracks.
At least as far west as the tracks. The chief mentioned taking it possibly all the way out to 124, but the main citizen concern is to have it drop to 20 at the tracks, because there are a lot of kids in that neighborhood.
Right.
So, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other comments?
Sherry and Jessica Grinke. We're here to talk about rental property in town. While I was sitting there, I noticed the mission statement, our principles to help our citizens live safe and prosperous lives. We have a lot of good landlords in this town, but we have some that aren't so good. And I'm going to talk about specifically 3 properties that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are others. One I don't have any pictures of, but the woman I know that lives there is handicapped in a chair. She said her floor is sinking. She's told her landlord several times he won't do anything. Her roof is leaking in a couple of places. He still hasn't fixed anything. Another one is this property, and I'll send the picture around. This is a property that had a tree fall on it at least 9 months ago. Until this weekend, it looked like that. They did start fixing the porch roof this weekend, but the people that were living there this whole time told their landlord about it. He didn't even come and look at it. They moved out at the beginning of February. Since then, it's been in the paper at least twice. I don't look at all the rentals every week, but I know it's been in there for at least twice. They haven't been able to rent it out because I've seen several people come over and look at it, but they haven't been able to rent it. And I think it's because the damage is very visible. And they realize that if they're not even going to bother to set the satellite dish up on the roof, much less fix the porch roof, what else are they not fixing? I know from the people that were living there before that that roof also leaks, which could also lead to structural damage or mold. You know, they did start, like I said, start working on the front porch of this house. They have not worked on the rest of the roof of that house. Only the porch, that's the visible damage. I have some other pictures. This is a house that the person that was getting ready to rent it had the lease signed, was going to be moving in 2 weeks. They came into this, into the bedroom right before they moved in. The bedroom ceiling had collapsed. And this is looking into the ceiling. You can see the boards from the ceiling had actually fallen. The whole house had a dropped acoustic tiles in it. So when you walk through, you could, the damage wasn't visible in this house. You couldn't see it. As a regular citizen walking through a house, you're not going to go in and start pushing tiles up and look see what damage is under there. That's something a building inspector would do. You know, after they saw this, they started wondering, I wonder what other kind of damage is in the other rooms. And they started pulling up some other tiles. They found water damage above the kitchen sink, some other wood and structural damage. They also got pictures of the wiring. This is how they had the ceiling light fixture, hooked up, was hooked up to that. This was behind the refrigerator, and I'm going to show you, point out to you right here at the bottom, if you can see it's blackened where it was probably shorting out on the electrical. These are all just pictures of the different rooms in that house. This house, now they hadn't moved in, so the landlord said, fine, you know, we'll let you out of lease. They did not get the deposit back. But she said, I'm not worried about it because I get 10 calls a week on these houses, and I can rent this out to anybody anytime. They were going to clean up that one bedroom. They're going to pull the acoustic tile out and paint the ceiling. They were not going to do anything with the other structural damage in that house. And they were still going to rent it out. I feel like if there were other options in town for people to go to, they would choose it. The free market would take care of it. The problem is the rent, $600 and under, is just, there isn't very much available. And so if all of the landlords, or several of them that have the lower rent properties available, don't maintain them in a safe way, why should I? Nobody else is. And so there's no free market push. Like the visible structural damage, they didn't want it. But when it's invisible under the acoustic tile, that can hide anything. So it can be wiring not up to code. It can be rafters that are cracked and broken. That last house actually had a tree fall on it, and they fixed the window, but they did not fix the crack, the structural crack that came with it also. So all I'm asking is you please consider some kind of ordinance that would allow for someone that has this situation to be able to get the property condemned. If a property is declared uninhabitable, the state statutes say the lease can be terminated if it's not brought up to a habitable condition within 45 days. But who's going to declare if it's uninhabitable? The landlord and the tenant are obviously going to get to disagree. But I would consider you know, these properties uninhabitable, you know, especially that last one. But, okay, so you can go to small claims court, you can file the paper, but then someone, say they, you know, you've lost your deposit, you have to live somewhere. You know, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to come up with another deposit, plus another month's rent, plus the fee to file for small claims court, plus a day off work. You're not going to be able to do it. Most people can't save up that amount of money in that short period of time. So, if you have any questions that, you know, I can help with.
So is your proposition that it's as needed? I mean, basically that the tenant would call and ask for the inspection so that it would be condemned?
I would like to see some, I mean, that would be minimum. At least that. At least, and I know I have a Moberly. I printed this off because it was so easy to, because it was so printable. But Moberly has exactly that. Either the tenant or the landlord can call for an inspection, and they charge $45, you know, for the inspection. But at least it would be something you would have. You could, you know, if you needed to get out of the lease, you could get out of the lease and they're required to give your deposit back. You know, but to me it would be ideal, especially with older properties, to have a period of time that they need to be inspected regularly. You know, if they, you know, like new construction probably doesn't need to be inspected quite as often as the 100-year-old house, obviously. But, you know, just like your car inspections or something like that, they allow for those new cars to not be safety inspected quite as often. So, you know, if you implement something where at least when you're moving into a place, it doesn't necessarily have to look beautiful. You know, so what if it doesn't look great if you're looking for a home and you need one now and you don't have a lot to spend? But you want to know it's safe. You want to know that the ceiling isn't going to fall down on you in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. You know, that kind of thing. You want to know that you're not going to have an electrical fire because the wiring isn't up to code. You know, so, yeah, I don't know where you guys would start. I don't know exactly what you would want to do. But I'm just asking, please do something. You know, this is something that needs to be done on a local level. You wouldn't want, you know, big government coming in or anything like that. You want something very local.
Well, to me, if it's as needed or as requested, it wouldn't matter if it was a 5-year-old house or a 100-year-old house.
Exactly.
If it's uninhabitable, if there's a situation, it would, I mean, that doesn't factor into it.
Right, right, right.
Any discussion? Or we actually have it on the agenda later on?
It is on the agenda later.
Do you know, I guess it seems more concerning that, one, somebody would put a deposit down on a house before they looked at it, or is this changes that from when they looked at it happened?
Exactly. On the walkthrough, the acoustic tile hit everything. They signed the lease and they you know, were moving stuff in, and came back a week later and the ceiling had collapsed.
The acoustic tile.
Yeah, well, no, the ceiling above the acoustic tile had fallen and caused the acoustic tile to fall.
Okay, that's wasn't just water damage.
They had put a new roof on this house within the past couple of years. It looked fairly new, but it looked like they hadn't fixed all the structural damage that had happened from the roof leaking to begin with. And so that structural damage had fallen and knocked the acoustic tile down.
And the landlord was not willing to refund the deposit?
No.
Right.
Well, to be uninhabitable would have to rise to the occasion of a health department or a health inspection versus a dangerous structure.
Yeah, and those would be, we can request those of the Boone County Health Department, but they are very, I talked to them, we have a couple of people in town who are occupying houses, I mentioned this before, but they don't have water service. They were not, that was not something that would elicit them to come up and do an inspection. There was nothing that, like county code or et cetera. most of the codes that require occupancy permits require them either at the time of a new person moving in or on a regular cycle. I think Columbia, I understand, there used to be every 3 years. University City, I'm not familiar with Moberly's, but many of these require occupancy permit inspections upon changing of tenants. I think that's how University City works. Kansas City has inspections for home or owner or rental. So there's different, to find, if you want to look at building code and health code type inspections, you're gonna have somebody who's trained to do that.
Oh, no doubt. And then where I was going with the question was that to be considered uninhabitable would fall under one of those two categories, if I'm not mistaken. From a reg standpoint.
Right. And if it's uninhabitable, then the person who's living there would have to vacate. I mean, it's really, if you have a serious health issue like, I don't know, black mold, you've got significant
Critters living in the house.
critters living in the house, rats running around, or, there's,
Structural damage.
Yeah.
if the building meets a dangerous building, then you're not supposed to.
But that's the case whether you're a landlord or whether you're a homeowner. I mean, we would consider it that type of structure, regardless of the use of it.
When it gets to the point of a dangerous building, we begin with the process to demolish the building. I don't know if we've had one that was occupied in a while. But setting up a rental inspection program has definite advantages. You can reset what the base value will accept. It will change the market, but there you have to assess fees enough to cover at least most of the cover most of the cost of the program, and then come up with the rest somewhere else. Most places don't try and cover all the costs of the inspectors because there is a general public good, but you have to come up with something. Well, that's never, Columbia's
What that
never tried.
ratio is, yeah.
But that's, we're getting into the discussion of this.
Go ahead.
We'll open up the discussion further down in the agenda, and then take further action later. Once we review some other cities' policies and procedures, and try and come up with the best overall plan for.
All right, now moving on to public safety. Oh, any other comments from citizens, I should say first? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to public safety, city prosecutor. Oh, yeah, we have one. I was like, I assume no.
She usually tries to come after an election to meet the new board and stuff like that, so.
And maybe just left over from last April.
Okay. Police department activity reports in your packet. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question for Larry. While you were reading your letter to the dispatchers, I noticed you said that they respond to over 900 calls.
Calls
a
for service a month.
Every month. Is that, I guess what I'm asking is each call for service involve an officer responding to something?
No,
Okay,
no, but, no, short answer is no.
okay. But a large majority of them would have.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I have one thing under the other for the police department, if I might.
Absolutely.
I'm not a big budget watcher, pro or con, which is to say this was brought to my attention. is my understanding that left over from budgeted fiscal year 14-15 is $4,820 for on-board cameras, in-car cameras, unused. That is my information. Although I would say I believe it. That being said, I'd like at least tacit approval this evening. I'm gonna dip into that. And another $1,360. That'll give me 3 new onboard cameras for police cars. I just think it's the right thing. It's true we all wear the body cameras. But these are, you take the rear view mirror, the existing, take it off, and the new camera is both your rear view mirror and your camera.
So I want to make sure I understand. So in addition to what was budgeted, you're asking for another $1,360?
Yes. Yes.
If we're talking about funds in the general fund for the year that ended April or March 31, 2015, there is no bucket where those monies are waiting to be respent. They have been reprogrammed for the following year and then again for the following year.
So where did we repurpose that money to? I'm not complaining, I'm just asking.
It would have gone into the general fund. So those monies were spent by the various departments this year, and there's always some funds that were budgeted that were not spent, or there's often times when there are money spent that were not exactly budgeted. Last year,
Or in excess of the budget.
right, where we come up with projects during the middle of the year that we hadn't budgeted for, and we went ahead and did them. So.
Okay.
So, but, I mean, we have done, for instance, I didn't leave myself. The project to put in a new phone system. If we don't rebudget that money, then that project is not, still there to be spent the next year. So we have to come up with a different, if we want to do the same thing.
Right.
For instance,
Unless we specifically roll it over to do that.
right. For instance, we only put in $5,000 in the general government fund, general government building grounds function, whereas last year we had $8,000. So we're hoping that we can do something cheaper than we were thinking about last year. But under the police, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't.
Okay.
So,
How much do you need?
Then, well, excuse me?
What is it that you would, this is for to replace onboard cameras in the police car?
Yes, just on down enough.
so the total will be $6,180.
$6,240 includes $60 free. It's not too far, I go get it. But, okay, well, let me just say that I learned my lesson. I'll never let nothing except for you can bet on that. That's a fact from the good hands of all states. All right, we'll attack this another time.
We have. But this is I'm not sure what the recurring expense of $3,180 is, but we had spent it the last 2 years without budgeting it, and this year we budgeted it. We have, it may be possible that we can find a way to fund it without.
Was that from that fingerprint scanner? or-
Yes, that live scan, that's what he's
Yeah, the
talking
live
about
scan,
there.
that recurring expenses, the live scan thing.
So, in other words, we need to.
All right,
Yeah.
put that in the back of your minds, because I won't forget it.
It's not impossible, but we gotta figure out a way to.
Well, this is we'll discuss this again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else for the police department?
I hope not.
That was your out loud voice.
I said, I hope not.
Moving on to fire department, activity reports in your packet. Any questions? What is the EMS call? Just the amount of EMS calls.
Or the 900, so
Exactly.
It just never stops.
So you got the new guys on in training, or are they incorporated into the team?
one that's already went through all his classes along when we did it here, so I mean, he's already jumping in, it's no piece of cake. And we're not having trouble.
You talked to Jeff about the progress on the truck?
Yeah, I looked on the pictures the other day and I take it. They're having a mess up, I believe. They put the wrong truck on the pictures last week or so.
Oh, sorry.
So you're watching.
So we lost half that cab.
It's going backwards?
I don't know what's going on. He was going, he's down there this week, he went to Florida this week
Okay.
to look at it and see the progress. and everything.
He probably phoned me that picture up so he can go down there.
I would, Don Rogers went, not yet, the fire marshal Don Rogers went to fireworks training, which is really important and allows us to continue to be certified for fireworks, launching of fireworks. It would be, we either have to give up a lot of fireworks or pay a lot more money if we had somebody come in and launch it. So that's,
Out of curiosity, how much is that training?
$100 for the license,
yeah.
and then,
$600 or $700 for training, isn't it?
I don't think it's right,
I think you
No,
put
forever.
the hotel, everything together, I think it ends up being about, I think it's about $1,600, but that's 1 year's worth of launch, probably.
but I mean, the license is good for 3 years,
Yeah.
$100 now.
Oh, 3 years.
That's 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Then,
yeah, yeah.
Not so.
That's right.
Sorry.
Thanks.
That's, yeah, just 3?
I thought it was 3 years.
It used to be.
All right, anything else for the fire department? All right, moving on to emergency management.
LEPC will be meeting next week.
Ah. Let us know next meeting if there's anything.
Yeah.
Protective inspection, rental inspection program, kind of started into that earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Any discussion further before we go to the next meeting with it?
The version I got, the city, I sent out a request through the MCMA list. The one, I got a link to the City of Columbia site. Their program goes back to the late 70s, and they've tweaked it over and over and over again, including linking it with their utilities so that they kind of know what's a owner occupied versus rental. But they've got a large staff and they have, I think, 2 or 3 people who just do rental inspections. It is we have, the problem described exists. There's no doubt about that. There are some properties out there that are, I don't know that, there are some properties out there that are well below what I think anybody on this board would consider a place they'd want to live.
Go ahead.
And some of them may even be they may even be dangerous.
Well, that's where I'm going with it. My follow-up to that is, and do they all rise to the level of being where they could be construed as a dangerous structure
No.
separately?
No, no. I mean, just having moldy carpets does not make it a dangerous structure. Dangerous structure has to be something that may fall down. There a hole in the roof. There are some that are, some parts of the dangerous building code are, if the door is enclosed, I mean, if you can secure the door, then it's no longer a dangerous building. And it's a very cumbersome process to get something. The solution to a dangerous building is either to have it repaired or torn down. Rental inspection is to preserve the rental units and keep them in working conditions so that people habitable and decent, fire alarms, smoke detectors, mold, insects, that kind of thing. So there's a long way between something that is, a nice place to live versus some place that's going to fall down. And there are code issues on like handrails and things like that, which would be caused by a rental inspection that aren't nearly they're not nearly going to get it to the level of danger.
Sure, there are owners, yeah.
So the question is, would you want to proceed with more discussion, looking at a couple more cities like Moberly, others that are, Columbia's also, it's the first one, Columbia University City, these are much larger cities. I haven't seen a version of something from a city our size, but I did get a couple other cities to say, well, tell me what you find out. So,
They're probably in the same situation.
I'm pretty certain, I can say with almost 100% certainty that we couldn't just call Stan Schauber and say, hey, let's add this to what we're doing.
Right.
The county does not do it.
Right.
Matter of fact, the county cannot do it by law. But they've tried to get that changed several times, and they have not been able to get it through the state legislature, and it's not gonna happen again. Although they are trying again this year, but it's not gonna happen with the legislature we have.
Is this something that we talked about?
With this,
Yes,
few
we
years
visited
ago with
this.
the
We did talk about this.
International Building Code?
Yes. Yes.
I knew,
Yes.
it didn't Merritt say we could adopt parts of that thing and leave other parts of it not?
And if I recall right, we chose not to do anything at that time
Right.
for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, you guys have discussed this.
Does anybody know if our problem properties, are those absentee landlords, or are they local landlords, or is there any way of knowing?
I think they're absentee property owners with local landlords. I think in the,
So like a property management thing?
I know one of them that I spoke of was locally owned. That last one is locally owned, and someone that's lived here for years and years and years, everybody would know. I
That's
think the
one
other
that's
two
refused to
are,
give the deposits back? That's the one.
right,
yeah,
the other two, I think, are not locally owned. I think they have managers from an out-of-state owner.
The one that refused to give the deposit back, I mean, did they have a remedy that, oh, we'll get it fixed in the next week or something like that, or?
They
Is
were
there-
only going to fix the one bedroom that had actually fallen. But when you look, the pictures were from several rooms. They had pulled up the acoustic tile in several rooms, because if it's this bad here, where else is it bad? And they had seen the structural damage, and then they saw the wiring, and then they saw the water damage in the kitchen above that sink, under that tile. And they just said, it's not safe to live here. I'm not gonna live here. I don't feel safe.
And many of the cities have approached this with the idea that rental properties is a business. And that's how Columbia got it started, is this is a commercial enterprise, you are selling a service to somebody else. If you don't approach it that way, then you have to figure out, then you put at risk, then the city is sort of obligated to go into homeowners' properties who have and then it's almost always going to be the case that they don't have the resources to restore their own home to a condition that is what we would consider, good. So that's another thing to consider. If we want to approach, if we want to look at this, we probably want to look at it as going for the commercial enterprise as opposed to the homeowner who's just not able to come up with the money to fix their home. There are other ways to approach that also. Well, a city our size, Columbia has federal entitlement money. Because of the size of that city, they get a chunk of federal CDBG money. We don't.
And everything that comes along with that.
And everything and all that implies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you guys would like to give me some sort of direction as to what you want me to do next, that would be greatly.
How many cities our size have something like this?
I haven't found one yet, but I haven't. I mean, my search has been far from exhaustive.
Well, I understand that.
I would like to see.
I think we need to look into it.
I do too.
Agree.
Yeah.
So the research continues?
Okay.
Research continues. Yeah.
And based on a commercial enterprise kind of approach to it, I'm guessing?
I think that would be most prudent.
All right.
If we're at a point, I'm gonna grab up the fire chief and, we're gonna go look at something real quick. If you need something hot, you know where I'm going.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to general government and finance, economic development, credit. See, we had the 2015 activities here.
Yeah, my apologies for not getting that in the packet, the revised packet today. I received that today by Dana at about 8:15 this morning, so we should have been able to get it in the packet. I just didn't forward it to I thought I forwarded Phyllis ahead, so. We still don't have from them the program for this coming year. Which is actually what is required. I mean, they have done fine work. They are working on, and I think one of the things that's really cool is that we have probably some of the best cooperation ongoing right now between the chamber and Freddie on this hotel project, and Ginny can speak to that. So I think we've got some really good things going, but if we don't get that report by next Monday, or if we don't get the report by Thursday, I'm not inclined to put that back on for approval on the Monday meeting. And obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a representative from Freddie here to talk about it.
I mean, they've got to request it. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's up.
Right. Yeah, and they did ask about the possibility of making it a 2-year contract similar to the chamber contract, and I have a vague recollection of having that discussion before, but we didn't do it at the meeting when the last time we approved their contract, and I don't think we did it at the meeting immediately preceding that based on what I saw in the minutes and what I saw in the video.
Right.
So, is there any interest in altering the contract to a 2-year contract?
I personally don't feel like there's an issue, as long as they can also, to some degree, forecast where they're going. Meaning, give us a blank check for 1 year, and we'll tell you what we're gonna get done this immediate year. Well, if it's a 2-year contract, I expect that someone can tell me for 2 years what they'll be doing or getting done.
Right. All right.
I don't know how anybody else feels. I think they're still a new enough organization that maybe the 1-year contract is what we ought to keep for a while.
Are they wanting it just so they don't have to come back to the?
I would, I guess, yeah. I mean, why do we start doing the chamber contract in 2 years?
It's always been that way. As long as I've been here, it's been that way. So it may not have started that way, but
I think
the 20 years
the
I've been
credit,
here.
the first year we did credit, it was a $10,000
Right.
first year, kind of an initial investment. And then it just, every year after that was a 1-year renewal. I mean, I foresee no reason we couldn't bump it up to 2 years like the chamber.
But we have to have a 2-year plan of work.
Right, right.
And that's when I'm with
And,
stipulation.
you know, I agree with that, we need a 2-year plan of work to do that, but.
And we're not being completely, there are parts of the agreement that we're not pushing on Creddy, and there are parts that we haven't been pushing on the chamber as well. So that's up to you guys as to how much you want to.
Well, I mean, any of those kinds of agreements, putting text in just for the heck of putting text in,
Right.
seems silly.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're gonna hold people to a standard and we put it in the contract,
Right. I agree.
otherwise it just needs to be removed, is my point.
Right.
Yeah.
The chamber provides us with financial information every month. Creddy has not been doing that. Neither party has provided us with an annual, the chamber contract calls for uses the word audit. The Creddy doesn't, but we don't get an annual report from them. I don't think we've gotten an annual financial report from them either. So it's how, but both are doing, I don't think anyone would argue that they're not both doing good work.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And my only point is, why have it in the contract if we're not going to require it? So that's all I'm.
The chamber contract is not up right now.
I agree.
No need to, but that's, I think that's kind of the reason I'm making that point.
Right.
So I'm not gonna make huge changes, but if you guys want to make additional changes to the contract, it was in the packet so it's still online for the March 16 meeting.
Mm-hmm.
16 something, whatever, the first meeting I think it's the 16th. So if you'd like to make additional changes to that to pare it down, please let me know, or to beef it up.
Yeah, I don't care.
And I will bring it back as a 1-year or a 2-year.
Well, like I
Well,
say,
let's
if
see,
they're,
With it,
I would see what they ask for.
okay.
that's my
You know?
point. But if they can forecast out for 2 years, then we can discuss it in another year, but.
Okay. And they have to get it done quickly enough that I can change it. and put it in the packet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And now it's your turn. Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And we do have a representative.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming tonight, Jim.
No problem. This is I assume this annual report is in
Yes.
the packet. Okay, and this kind of outlines pretty much what we do throughout the year that pertain to economic development, along with the events. We're really trying to promote the business community pretty heavily on Facebook. We're taking advantage of any of that we can do to help out. We were pretty successful with our Christmas, finding the elf promotion. I think we'll expand on that next year to maybe do some more with that. Of course, we've been working with Creddy in the city on the hotel project. And we are, one of the other big things that we're doing is we're in the process of replacing the Christmas decorations to help make the community look good at Christmas time. We've been buying them in batches. The shipment that we will get in August of this year will get us up to half, because there's a total of 80 of them. So we'll be at half. And then we may add a different design for the other 40. I don't know. Mark and I have talked about it a little bit. You know, if any of you guys have any ideas, display sales is who we buy from. And they have a lot of, you know, you can do candles and you can do poinsettias and you can do bell. I mean, there's any number of things that you could do. But we talked about maybe switching that off. And at this point, what we're asking is for the payout for this coming year.
We'll note that there is not only a report of what's been done, but a a plan of action for the coming year.
Well, and also there's some budget figures here, just to give you an idea of what we spend on advertising, which is what most of the economic development money goes towards, on top of the feasibility study and the Christmas decorations, so that you see we are putting money towards that as well.
That's not in our packet.
This part isn't?
Yeah, the financial
Here, I-
That usually, is that with your regular monthly meeting?
No,
Okay.
this was,
Everything else
maybe, I know it was a separate file.
Okay.
I bet I didn't send you the separate file.
I think it's I mean, it's possible that you attached it and I didn't include it too, so.
Yeah, because it would have been a separate attachment.
You were just making reference to it, I'm like, I don't see it here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want, I can send copies or whatever you need me to do.
And it didn't come on the 7th with the annual report.
Okay, then I forgot to attach it, I'm sorry.
That's it, okay. But they, in every full board meeting, we have their minutes and their,
Absolutely.
which has the name.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
And usually refers to where they are in terms of the
Yeah.
budget.
And there are credit board meeting minutes in the back.
There are board minutes, yes.
They have a board meeting.
Well, and I think, I'm not speaking on behalf of Creddy, but I have to say, I think they need some more direction on how what they need to submit, what they need to, because I think there's been some transition in people
Yeah.
that have been submitting that, and new people may not be aware of exactly the
Right.
format and how that should be put together.
Well, hopefully they have a copy of the one from last time.
The last
I mean, who
two.
knows?
But yeah, but somebody else who
Yeah.
isn't involved
Absolutely.
is the one who put that together, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The board, several members of the board received the last 3 annual reports.
Oh, okay.
So they had them. But, I think there are some definite discussions we could have with them concerning, in addition to $6,000 for the chamber, $6,000 to Creddy, we give Ready $1,000. And I really like the staff at Ready, but, maybe we need to look at that. I was talking, Corey Mahaffey did the study for the chamber and the city and Creddy, works with a regional group there that includes Monroe City and some smaller cities. So, I don't know, maybe we need to look at what neither Creddy nor the chamber has as a person who is trained in economic development. I know a little bit, Ginny knows a little bit, some of the Tim knows a little bit on the, Tim knows a little bit, and there's some people with some experience in parts of economic development on the credit board, but we don't have a Corey Mahaffey, we don't have a Bernie Andrews, we don't have a Stacy Butt. We're never gonna be able to afford our own one of those people either. So, it may be something worth looking at. Corey talked to his staff and they would be willing to have that discussion. That's a policy decision.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to push you in any direction, that's not my job. But it's something to think about. That might be able to give it a little bit more assistance. So just
Understood. Any other questions or comments for the chamber? I do want to know how to become a barbecue judge.
You can be a one-bite wonder judge, easy.
Go on now, PCBS.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know how you guys can
Take a class.
They didn't ask me back.
Yeah.
Take a class.
There's an online class for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
An online class.
No, you have to be there, you get to eat food,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can take a class right up here to do the one in Centralia.
Yeah.
Not the KBCBS one,
No,
but
not
the backyard.
the backyard,
Yeah, yeah,
You can do the backyard right up here.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Gotta walk before you can walk.
All right.
All right, moving on to park board. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good night.
Park board minutes, 15th in your packet. The agenda for the April 5th meeting is also in the packet. And the meeting minutes.
I assume the pool project is moving along smoothly.
Yep, they've got full, they are in the clear in terms of their plans being approved. They made some adjustments that required some more alterations to the plan, but all that has gotten through.
Okay. Thank you.
Cemetery report. Didn't see any. Tree board report. Don't see any report in here.
Trees are leaving,
There's that.
sprouting leaves.
We did have an Arbor Day
Right, observation.
event
Yes.
on April 1st. No kidding. No fool.
Go for it.
It was a pretty neat event. The mayor was not able to make it, so I attended it instead.
Thank you very much.
And I hope my performance wasn't wooden.
Wow, moving on. Any other comments?
It was neat to see the kids and Jim Lee particularly and John Kotwitz did a great job explaining the importance of urban forestry and that kind of thing. It was neat to see the kids on that.
All right.
Moving on to library board. Got meeting minutes from March 10th meeting.
Meyer,
Jack.
Jack Meyer will
Yes.
probably be at our next meeting
Okay.
to introduce himself.
The full board meeting or the next general government?
Next general government. Next, yeah, the next meeting of this committee.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments on the minutes? Moving on to March 2016 financial statements. The information's in your packet. Out of curiosity, the changing of the accounting numbers, we're going to do it for next year, though?
You'll see it probably in June.
Okay.
That's our goal for you. Actually, I take that back, probably about August, because we're not gonna touch it until the audit's done.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Any questions on the financial statements?
I think the good news is that the sales tax came in it came in at budget, but the bad news is it came in well below last year. We had a huge March last year. Property taxes came in higher. And most of the property tax increase we saw this year was within the library district, so that's.
Yeah. Any other questions for financials or comments? Moving on to accounts payable or bills over $1,250, that's on page 80 of your packet.
Where'd the rock go? Do we pay to have somebody haul for us?
That's several projects, I mean, it's not, it didn't all go to one project.
Everybody was busy, didn't go get our own.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
I think the cost with bringing it, and they have it as hauling rock, but that includes the rock too, so it's not just the hauling. And the Midland GIS, last year we were doing it month by month, so that's the whole year.
Did we get a discount by doing that?
We did not, but it does save.
Oh, sure, process, I feel like it, but.
Yeah.
Process is great, labor. Other general government, comprehensive plan update.
I no, I don't have much to add. Didn't get a chance to follow up with that segment to the level I wanted to.
So that's your update?
That's my update, but yeah, let's not worry about it. We got stuff to do, so.
Still working.
Yeah.
Other water utility bid supplies for Southwest Country Estates Plat 4, that's in your packet.
Yeah. And the best bid by, I think it was $75 is, what are you doing? The water and sewer supply corporation. And so I'm asking the committee to approve the bid of water and sewer supply in the amount of $19,629.28.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
As may arise.
I got, you have some?
Go ahead.
I have several real quick ones. Chamber tickets are on sale for $20. We have never paid for city board to go. We did pay for board to go to the credit union.
What's that date again?
The 26th, right, Son?
Yes. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday the 26th. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Last Tuesday of April.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a problem, I mean,
I would like to go.
I'd like to go as well.
Just,
I'm going, but I'd always planned on paying my own way anyways.
I'm with that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. One thing we do is we pay for a chamber membership in addition to the annual. We do not have a separate chamber. We have not paid for an annual membership in credit.
Credit, right.
So if that balances.
Works itself out for them.
All right. I encourage you guys to attend. It's an important event and a good event.
Yeah. I'll be marking.
Don's been to a couple.
Yeah. I don't know.
I say, what time is it? 8:12?
5:30 is when the social hour starts, I think.
5:30?
I believe it's 5:30.
Don,
Where's it at?
it's not at the place it was last year.
Yeah,
I've got it up.
it
The
used to be over here next door to the town church,
Multi-purpose.
multi-purpose building, but it's not there this year for.
I've got the invitation and it's just not. Okay, it is at
Kincaid.
No, it's at Holy Spirit. No, it's at the multi-purpose building. It is the same place. For some reason, I thought it was a different place. Social hour at 5:13, dinner at 6:15. 5:30 is the social hour, dinner at 6:15. All right. All right. You might expect a closed meeting probably before the May meeting, which I'm hoping we will recess the meeting to May 2nd, because we'll probably have something from planning and zoning to act on at May 2nd. A closed meeting probably with possible discussion about the lacrosse et al., or Pringer et al. Versus lacrosse et al.
Okay, I'm seeing closed meetings, we'll need a short one for our next meeting.
Okay.
To review.
Okay.
Evaluation.
All right.
Yes.
And that being said, if the rest of you could get me what you filled out, so I can compile it into kind of like I sent that email. everybody? I'd like to compile all of our responses as well before we have the closed meeting so we can go quickly through it.
Yep.
We have an application, I can't remember if I told you this, we have an application for what's it called, a utility pole on Collier.
Yes.
Have I already mentioned that to you? Okay,
120 feet tall.
120 feet tall in the right of way to the west of Kramer's on the street in the right of way between Singleton and Railroad. That Merritt and I have looked at that, and we've given them a response as to what we think they need to do in terms of application for permit. We have very little say. We really can't say no.
When you say it's in the right of way, does that mean on public property or?
Public right of way between the street and the private property that's basically a vacant lot there.
So would they pay rent?
No. They were gonna have to have electricity provided to it, so they'll have to pay. We don't make Ameren pay rent. They do have, well, not Ameren, they got a few poles. Another example would be CenturyLink. We do have a pole attachment agreement with CenturyLink. So when they put their stuff on our poles, we pay them a certain amount. They pay us a certain amount. When we put our stuff on their poles, we pay them a certain amount. Same thing with Charter. We wouldn't be this would not be like that because we're not putting anything on that pole, and they're not putting anything on our poles. It's really a cell tower.
Right.
It's just very small, very 40 inches wide.
That's why I always assumed it would go on private property.
No, they're allowed to put them
Private business.
Right, they're allowed to put them in the right of way now. So, but I'll let you know.
They deal with that right too.
Yeah.
We've been approached with the possibility of an intern. I'm going to interview him, and then we'll see. I didn't budget for this either. I have to find a place to fund it and I want to see if the guy's what he can do for us. He's got some skills. He doesn't have any experience in municipal government. There's a guy in the program at the graduate school for Masters in Public Administration that does not yet have an internship. So I didn't recruit, so we'll see how this works out. I will bring back a source of revenue, or something I can move over. And then, I don't know, this kind of self-serving, but this is Kiwanis family breakfast.
Yes, that's right.
I'll leave it. Larry's usually the one who does community announcements. He's not
cheerleading.
He's one of the people who sells tickets, as are two aldermen on that end. That's it.
Anyone else have any yes, Mayor Rice?
Yes. Next meeting is our adjourned sign and die meeting. So make sure everyone's here if at all possible prior to this one. And my wife told me I needed to request an absence because I'm going to be changing my age that day. But that's okay, I'll be here.
Very big of you.
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll bring cake.
Oh, there we go. I do have an aerial photograph of one of our buildings in town. I will send it to you all. Commissioners have received it, so that's all I have.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion